So what's up, guys? I'm St. Panther. I'm here. Buzz, just here hanging out, ready to start this interview.
Back on my bullshit. I love you cause you call me out on my bullshit. I guess I'm back on my bullshit. Love you cause you call me out on my bullshit.
My first artist name was actually Little Panther, and it was a nickname my dad always called me. He was like, "Come here, Little Panther." Like, he always just called me Little Panther, so that stuck with me throughout life. But then Panther kind of stuck. My friends started calling me Panther, then P, then SP happened when I was working with this producer at the time, rapper producer, and we were very closely knit, and I was running out of the studio to do random shit, and he was like, "Man, you're a saint. Like, you're just a saint. You're Saint Panther." And when he said that, we kind of both were like, that's like a nice little... I was a senior in high school, so this is 2012. You think you're having a genius idea in 2012. We were like, man, that's sick. So we kept it. It stuck with me till this long. I'm like, you know what? This is the name that two people I love gave me, and, that's how we're rolling. Wow, so I was a young one, 3 years old, like listening to the Lion King soundtrack over and over. I was driving my parents crazy with Disney movies, but I didn't notice I was registering the notes. So I would memorize the whole soundtrack and just go directly to the piano as like a baby, and they were seeing me sound out the notes that I was memorizing. So that was kind of like the ins and outs of like having an ear in music, and then they put me in classes, piano classes, drum, guitar classes, and then high school kind of brought me into the software world, then producing soon senior year, and the rest is history. Now I'm here producing records and talking here. So shuffling through all the DIY of being a musician before you're professionally a musician is playing shows everywhere, recording everyone you can, and that's kind of how I was just gaining my experience until, nice moments where the work is recognized and you get signed and now you're on a different road. Music is so important right now. Like, there is purpose with music. So I think it did create even more than before a purpose of sitting down to write music and kind of assessing what messages are we putting into the world, what are we doing, what are the feelings we're emitting, is it healing, is it uplifting for the moment, so I think all of this definitely put that into focus and made it a priority now when I'm sitting down to write.
This shit is physical, and I ain't talking about smoking on some shit. I blast it from my head to my bones. Never think I done this before. And when you leave me at the door, tell me why you always hang back for more. If you fuck with me, I put my heart on a plate. In the bed while we traveling state to state. Show love on a mic all around the world. That's right, I'm your golden girl. If you fuck with me, I'll probably take it to the top. Conversation with the clock, now they never stop. No time to just sleep.
Right. I feel like my signature has always kind of been having so many different signatures and different genres, and kind of being able to hone in on my favorite parts of each genre and kind of create a hybrid. Every time that I sit down, I kind of try to think like, well, these elements are what I gravitate to, but where's the space where I can push it more? So that's definitely, the space for the music. So I actually wrote the song way before COVID. These songs were recorded like over a year ago.
Okay.
This was like coming off of like New Year's 2019. So that's around that time frame. But at the time, a lot of the things that were going on in my life kind of reflect, the same passions that I have now about being able to convey these messages. And through COVID, I think that contextualized through, I know we're all like kind of thinking like maybe these are times where we're responsible for what we say and do, but we don't even realize how our natural feelings will create a valley for people to come in and relate to you. And we're all kind of relating in that sense, where we all kind of go through the same motions and are dealing with this the same way. So even back then, that music relates to now and kind of recontextualized itself through COVID, I think. Musically, to write, I depend on technology in the sense that I literally couldn't record it without any. There's certain sounds in this too that I didn't have a Wurlitzer or a Rhodes in person, which is kind of, pricey if you find the right one. So I relied on Analog Lab to create that same instrument and that same tone, and we tweak it as much as we can to make it sound like a real physical vintage instrument. But yeah, so there's certain things that, technology has allowed us to do without the hardware that we used to use before. And I'm a mad analog fan, so having all the analog instruments I can is the goal. Right now I kind of rely on technology to like bring in some instruments that I don't have right in front of me right away sometimes. I am Saint Panther and you've just been buzzed.